Okay, so this video is about how to connect a master cutoff switch like this one. This is just a 2-pole switch. So here I run just 2 wires, the red and the black. They go behind under my console and I run them. There's enough space, I'll show you around. If you have an HUD, that might be a little bit tighter to go through, but otherwise everything. That's through here. Let me get a light. So in the back, the white thing is the console gauge, and with my 2 wires there, I have a dash bar for my roll cage. But if you don't have one, there might be a little bit of that would have to be routed around the airbag if you had an airbag. But here the passenger airbag is gone, and here if you look in the back, there is a small grommet that you can pull out. Let me try to give you some view, a better view. You see the grommet at the bottom, and I routed my 2 cables here through the firewall, and this cable will come just here behind the battery. So now I have removed the battery, and you can see in there is where my 2 cables are coming. If I can get the light in. Yes, on the top left there. Then there is another big grommet there for the wire harness, but you want to touch at that one. There is enough room to put the 2 cables through there. And then here you have the negative terminal and you have the positive terminal. So the positive terminal, you have 2 cables coming out. One of them, the one going down there, we try to find a spot for the lamp. Yeah. So the one going down, this one going down here, this one goes to the starter. This one you don't want to touch, but you see there's another cable going to the fuse box here. So if you remove the fuse box, cable is attached here, so you can remove that nut here. I already removed it, that's why it's already loose, otherwise you will need a wrench. So remove that nut, and then that cable here is the one that you want to put in series with your kill switch. So I'm gonna take my black cable that comes from the inside of the car, and I'm gonna connect my black cable that comes from the switch. I'm gonna put that one here. I'll try to hold that at the same time. Here we go. Put the nut on top. So you would of course tighten that with a wrench. And now, so this will go to the switch, and now what I have to do is I have to connect that cable with the other cable coming from my kill switch, which is the red one. And so I'm gonna connect those 2 together, so when I open the switch there will be no connection between this and this, and when I close the switch it will work as the original connector. So here's how it looks like. I didn't want to cut the wire here and splice them, so I reuse the existing connector and just put a small bolt and nut to hold them together, and I'm gonna cover that with just some spring tubing around so that the connector is going to be covered. Okay, so now let's shrink wrap that. And voila, this one is done. So now I have reconnected the battery terminals, and so now from the plus side I'm going to that wire that is going to go to my switch, and the wire that comes back from the switch is connected here. Now that is tight, I can put the cover back, the fuse box cover back on. And I didn't cut those wires, they came already with the connectors, otherwise you can cut the wires on demand. Those are actually wires that I had with an inverter, a solar inverter, and I had those extra cable. They were too small for solar setup, but they were good enough for this. If you also want cheap cables, you can get cheap battery booster cable for like $15 at Walmart or Harbor Freight, and cut the clamp connectors and just get the connectors here. So I've just put the extra length of wire. I don't have actually much extra length, but here, in case I need to remove my kill switch for some reason, I can just reuse the original connector and connect it back here to the fuse bar. So now my switch is on, so I can see the light on the in the hood is on. So here, if I come to the kill switch, I haven't covered the connectors yet, but so if we look at the back of the kill switch, I have my red and black wires here coming and then going behind to my dash. So now, if we look at the light over there, I'm going to turn the video like this. If I cut the switch up, the light goes off, and I can try to start the car. If I put the key in and try to turn, there is nothing on the dash, nothing is happening. Now I'm going to put the switch back on, so the light came back on here. I'm going to start the car. So the car is running, and if I kill here, that should kill the car. And the car is killed, which is what we wanted. The light is off over there. And if you don't take the distributor cable but only the starter cable, the battery, the car will still run off the alternator. So here now, if I put the switch back on, the car is ready to be started again. Ever. So that's how to wire a kill switch. And don't forget to cover your connector. To protect the connectors, you can get this cheap grommet assortment, Harbor Freight or anywhere online. And what I did is I took one of those bigger ones and smaller ones. And so here, if you look at my connectors, I have the bigger grommet at the bottom. So I have the bigger grommet at the bottom here, then two smaller grommet behind my nut and the connector. And this way, can I leave the light somewhere in here? Yeah. I'm gonna take some of that bigger shrink wrap. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna cut it probably around here and heat that up and protect the entire connector.